Gilbert Arenas arrested and facing federal charges.
Arenas is expected to make his first appearance in a federal courtroom this afternoon.
He is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business.
What I'm about to tell you is going to change the way you look at the NBA forever. 2 massive arrests just dropped this week. Gilbert Arenas, yes, Agent Zero himself, behind bars for running illegal poker games with actual organized crime figures. Marcus Morris owing casinos over $265,000 and getting arrested at an airport in front of his family. But here's what's absolutely insane, and I need you to stick around for this because I'm about to blow your mind. These aren't random incidents. There's a mysterious figure known only as Moose, who somehow predicted all of this months before it happened. And wait until you find out who this person really is and how deep this rabbit hole goes. By the end of this video, you're gonna realize that Adam Silver might be losing complete control of his own league, and there's a gambling network operating right under the NBA's nose. Before we get to the content, I'm currently coming to you guys from Jerusalem. I apologize if my hair is a mess. They actually lost my luggage on my way here, so yeah, I've been wearing the same clothes for the past day and a half. But that's not stopping me from getting you guys this video, man. Drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to get the latest NBA news to your device, because nothing will stop me from bringing you guys the news. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So Gilbert Arenas got arrested on Wednesday for running poker games, and at face value you'd wonder, what's the big deal over Gilbert Arenas having a poker tournament at his own home? I mean, hell, I don't think it's that foreign of a concept. You go to a buddy's house, you have a tiny little buy-in, you play some poker with your pals, and it's all in harmless good fun, except for that one guy that is trying to bully everyone out of his money just so he could pay for his lunch the next day. We all have that one guy at our poker games that does that, and if you don't have that guy, then you probably are that guy. But according to the Department of Justice press release, from September of 2021 to July of 2022, Gilbert Arenas rented out an Encino mansion he owned for the purpose of hosting high-stakes illegal poker games. So yeah, this isn't just Gilbert Arenas grabbing a bunch of his old NBA chums and saying, hey, let's play some poker together. He was hosting legitimate high-stakes events. We're talking about custom poker tables with Arenas' name and image on them. Bro had professional dealers, armed security guards, chefs, and this is where it gets wild, young women hired to serve drinks, provide massages, and offer companionship to players. Gilbert Arenas' house sounds like the sketchy basement of any restaurant that you'd see in a gangster movie. Among those arrested was Yevgeny Georgia Gershman, a suspected high-level member of an Israeli transnational organized crime group. This wasn't Gil trying to make some side money, this was organized crime. And here's why your jaw should hit the floor. This isn't the first time Gilbert Arenas has been in the headlines for this. Do you remember when Gilbert Arenas' career was destroyed by him bringing guns into the Washington Wizards locker room back in 2009? According to ESPN, that incident reportedly started due to a high-stakes card game and involved gambling debts. So we have a guy who's been in gambling-related trouble for 15 years, and somehow nobody thought to keep an eye on him? Keep that in mind, because this pattern of the league ignoring red flags is going to come up again and again. Now, Gilbert Arenas is out of the NBA, and he's primarily known for his podcasting at this point, so he's not technically in the NBA, but if you just take a look at all these stories, you'd understand the point I'm trying to make. The Marcus Morris situation is a whole different level of crazy. Picture this. You're at the airport with your family, about to board a plane, and suddenly you're in handcuffs because of $250,000 casino debts. According to court documents obtained by TMZ Sports, Morris allegedly got $115,000 from the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino via bad checks in May of 2024 and never paid it back when the checks bounced. Then a month later, in June 2024, he performed a similar scheme at the Wynn Las Vegas Hotel and Casino, netting $150,000 through checks that he knew wouldn't cash. But here's where it gets ridiculous. Morris and his team are trying to spin this as just a misunderstanding. On Instagram, Morris wrote, "Did I go past the time I needed to repay? Yeah, I probably did. Did I know they would lock me up? Hell no." His agent Yoni Noi called it absolute insanity, saying this is due to an outstanding marker with a casino. Apparently, if you have over $1,200, they can issue a warrant for your arrest. Hold up, you just casually mentioned $250,000 like it's lunch money, and you're calling the arrest insanity, not the debt itself? This is just the tip of the iceberg. Remember when I said there's a pattern here? Let me connect these dots for you. Let's start with Jonte Porter. The NBA announced that Porter has been banned for life after a league investigation found that he violated league rules by disclosing confidential information to sports bettors, limiting his own participation in one or more games for betting purposes and betting on NBA games. Porter disclosed confidential information about his own health status to an individual he knew to be an NBA bettor, and another individual placed an $80,000 parlay to win $1.1 million, wagering that Porter would underperform in the March 20th game. Porter would then only play 3 minutes, claiming that he felt ill, and when Porter pled guilty, he did it to get out from under large gambling debts. Sound familiar? Financial desperation leading to stupid decisions. Then there's Terry Rozier, and this probably is my favorite story. According to documents obtained by ESPN through an open records request, a professional bettor placed 30 wagers in 46 minutes, all involving Terry Rozier in a March 23, 2023 NBA game, placing $13,759 in bets on the unders on Rozier's statistics. All 30 bets won after Rozier exited 10 minutes into the game, citing a foot issue. And the funniest part of all is the tests came back and realized that Terry Rozier did nothing wrong. He's just that bad. And now there's Malik Beasley. ESPN reported that federal authorities are investigating Detroit Pistons guard Malik Beasley on all allegations of gambling related to NBA games and prop bets from the 2023-24 season when he played for the Milwaukee Bucks. When you look at some of Beasley's games, the evidence is very compelling. According to a lawsuit filed by his former marketing agency, Beasley had financial issues and struggled to pay back a $650,000 advance this year, despite earning nearly $60 million during his 9-year NBA career. 4 different players, 4 different gambling scandals, all involving financial desperation. But wait until you hear about the guy who somehow knew all of this was coming. Alright, this is where it gets absolutely insane, and I need you to pay full attention because what I'm about to tell you is going to sound like a wild conspiracy theory, but it's all documented, I promise. There's this mysterious figure known only as Moose who somehow predicted these investigations months before they became public. According to reporting by Yahoo Sports contributor Tom Haberstroh and Pablo Torre's podcast, one figure with the alias of Moose connected Rozier, Porter, and Beasley in gambling activity, predicting Beasley being investigated when the Rozier news was reported 5 months earlier. Listen to this carefully. The same day that Terry Rozier news drops, this Twitter account called FreeMooseNBA tweeted, first was Jonte, then was Rozier. Next you'll hear about the capital M, 4 asterisks, capital B, and then 6 asterisks. That's Malik Beasley 5 months before anyone knew he was under investigation. But it gets even more terrifying. According to the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast, Moose wrote explicitly about a next project involving people currently facing trial after profiting from a certain NBA gambling incident last season. So this guy knows which players are getting investigated before the NBA does. How's that even possible? Well, here's the bombshell. The podcast's hosts discover that Omar, the person behind the Moose account, is Facebook friends with Amar Awade, a New York City deli owner accused of conspiring with Jonte Porter. When asked if he knew Amar, he said no, but further investigation revealed that they are cousins, with many photos of them together. Think about that for a second. The guy predicting NBA gambling investigations is the cousin of someone charged in the Jonte Porter case. This isn't inside information. This is an organized network systematically targeting NBA players. But here's what's gonna make you really angry. Let's talk about the man who created this mess, Adam Silver, because this didn't happen by accident. Adam Silver was the first major professional sports league commissioner to publicly support legalizing sports betting, writing an op-ed in the New York Times in 2014 with the headline "Legalize and Regulate Sports Betting." And you know what? Even now with all these scandals, Silver told the Associated Press that he doesn't regret it, stating that "I still think you can't turn the clock back. With the advent of the internet, widely available sports betting online, we have to deal directly with technology and recognize that if we don't legalize sports betting, people are going to find ways to do it illegally." But here's the problem with Silver's logic. In the first 4 years after the federal ban was struck down, Americans legally wagered $125 billion on games. The NBA now has more than 24 business relationships with gaming companies. Silver's defense is NBC Sports reported him saying that it's not a huge business for us in terms of a revenue stream mainstream into the league, but it makes a big difference in engagement. But when you're making millions off of gambling partnerships while your players are getting investigated left and right, that defense sounds pretty hollow. And here's the kicker, Silver actually experienced this before. The league was touched by a gambling scandal in 2007 when disgraced referee Tim Donaghy pleaded guilty to 2 felonies connected to his bets on NBA games. According to ESPN, any consideration to changing the NBA's position on gambling was put on hold in 2007 by the Donaghy scandal, and Silver questioned why none of the NBA systems identified Donaghy's scheme. Now bear in mind, David Stern was the commissioner at the time, but Adam Silver knew the dangers and he experienced them firsthand, and he still decided to go all in on gambling partnerships. This isn't an accident, it's the predictable result of choosing money over integrity, but the financial desperation angle makes this even worse. Here's what's really scary about all these cases: the financial pressure these guys are under despite making millions. We already talked about Porter owing massive gambling debts, but look at Beasley's situation. 3 years ago, South River Capital won a nearly $5.8 million settlement against Beasley. In August of 2024, Beasley signed a deal with a Florida firm that provides bridge loans to athletes, pledging his current and future NBA contracts as collateral. Think about that. A guy who made $60 million in the NBA is so financially desperate that he's taking bridge loans and can't pay back advances. A Milwaukee-based barber won a $26,827 judgment against Beasley, and a Minnesota dentist won a $34,390 default judgment. These aren't just gambling problems, these are guys living so far beyond their means that they're making desperate decisions that destroy their careers. And the league's response? Let me tell you about their detection systems. Now, Silver and the NBA want credit because these scandals got detected. Silver said that what we're seeing now in some of the investigations is operational data. In many cases, betting companies or independent agencies overseeing this activity raise flags and say what's happening here. ESPN reported that the NBA was alerted to suspicious activity by licensed sports betting operators and an organization that monitors legal betting markets. At 2:24 p.m. the day of the Rozier game, US Integrity sent a nationwide alert about suspicious wagering Terry Rozier NBA player props. But here's my question: if the detection systems are so good, why are we finding out about systematic networks like the Moose situation from podcasters and not the NBA? Why are federal investigators having to step in? Guys, let's be real about what we're dealing with here. This isn't a few bad apples situation. You've got organized crime figures running poker games at former NBA players' houses. You've got active players owing hundreds of thousands of dollars to casinos and acting like it's no big deal. You've got mysterious figures predicting federal investigations months in advance through family connections to gambling conspirators. Porter is believed to be the first NBA player booted for gambling since Jack Molinas of the Fort Wayne Pistons in 1954. But the difference is, back in 1954, we didn't have the league itself promoting gambling partnerships. The NBA partnered with DraftKings, FanDuel, and PrizePicks, which is easily the best one, and right now when you use my promo code microphone, you can get a free $50 in games when you make a deposit of $5 or more. But jokes aside, in the past, the NBA wouldn't show betting odds during broadcasts. Sports revenues were at $10.9 billion in 2023, a 44.5% increase from the year prior. They've normalized gambling to the point where Morris's agent can call a $250,000 casino debt absolute insanity, as if the debt itself isn't the problem. When you create a culture where gambling is not only accepted but promoted, you can't act surprised when the players take it too far. So at the end of the day, there's no question in my mind, the NBA has a massive gambling problem. When you have a commissioner who pushed for legalized betting despite knowing the risks from the Tim Donaghy scandal, when you have dozens of business partnerships with gambling companies generating billions in revenue, when you have a mysterious network that can predict which players will get investigated months in advance, when you have multiple ongoing federal investigations, when you have players with chronic financial problems despite making millions of dollars, and when you have a casual attitude towards massive gambling debts, that's not a few isolated incidents. That's a culture that's completely lost its way. Adam Silver said the fact that there might be insider trading doesn't mean you're going to necessarily shut down those public markets, but the NBA isn't the stock market. The integrity of games is everything, and when that gets compromised, the whole enterprise falls apart. The league is making millions of dollars off of gambling partnerships, while federal investigators are going to have to step in because the NBA can't police its own players. That's not regulation, that's negligence. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.